July 1943, Toulouse, France. The cobbled streets echo with the heavy boots of Gestapo patrols, yet a young woman slips silently through the shadows, clutching messages that could cost her life. Her heart pounds, every corner a potential trap, every alley a choice between freedom and death. How could a single woman, barely in her 20s, outsmart the most feared secret police in Europe and lead an entire resistance network? In this story, the daring feats of Nancy Wake, the White Mouse, will finally come to light. At barely 22, Nancy Wake had already transformed from an adventurous Australian girl into one of the most feared figures in Nazi-occupied France. Known to the Gestapo as the White Mouse, her daring exploits included smuggling intelligence across heavily guarded borders, orchestrating sabotage missions, and guiding hundreds of resistance fighters through the shadows of war-torn cities. Once, cornered by armed officers in a dimly lit alley, she slipped away through a hidden side passage, leaving her pursuers bewildered and empty-handed. On another mission, she coordinated the destruction of German supply depots, crippling enemy logistics, while risking her own life at every step. Her courage was matched only by her ingenuity. She blended into cafes, markets, and quiet streets, turning ordinary moments into calculated acts of defiance. The paradox of her existence was striking. A single woman, seemingly fragile, yet capable of outsmarting the most ruthless secret police in Europe. In these moments, the contours of Nancy Wake's extraordinary life began to emerge. An untold story of stealth, bravery, and relentless determination that would save countless lives and leave an indelible mark on history. Nancy Grace Augusta Wake was born on August 30th, 1921 in Wellington, New Zealand, though she grew up primarily in Sydney, Australia. The daughter of a wealthy Australian mother and a British father, Nancy's childhood was a mixture of adventure and upheaval. Her family moved frequently, her mother later divorcing, leaving Nancy with an early taste of independence and resilience. From a young age, she displayed an insatiable curiosity and a restless spirit. She would climb trees, race bicycles along Sydney streets, and challenge herself physically and mentally in ways uncommon for girls of her time. By her late teens, Nancy had developed a fearless temperament, an audacious streak that would define her later life. She traveled to Europe in 1937, initially seeking excitement and new horizons. But what she found was a continent teetering on the brink of war. France, where she would eventually settle, was a place of charm and sophistication, but shadowed by political unrest and the looming threat of German expansion. The atmosphere was tense. Whispers of Nazi aggression in the newspapers, French soldiers training on the streets, and the anxious murmurs of communities bracing for conflict. Nancy, far from home and fully aware of the growing danger, could have chosen a life of comfort and safety. Instead, the same traits that marked her childhood, a daring, restless spirit and a refusal to accept limits, pushed her toward the extraordinary. Before the war, she worked for a journalist in Paris, which immersed her in the networks of communication and information. She became fluent in French and familiar with the city's labyrinthine streets, cafes, and hidden alleys. Little did anyone know that these skills, languages, local knowledge, and social adaptability would soon become tools of survival and instruments of resistance. Her early experiences with travel independence and risk-taking laid the foundation for her transformation from a spirited young woman into a masterful operative in one of the most dangerous theaters of World War II. By the time France fell to Nazi occupation in 1940, Nancy was ready, not yet a soldier or spy, but a woman with courage, intelligence, and an unyielding determination to act. The combination of her upbringing, adventurous childhood, and exposure to European society shaped a character capable of defying odds that would crush most. Every alley she would later slip through, every secret message she would carry, and every life she would save had its roots in these formative years, a paradoxical blend of innocence and precocity, daring and preparation, that would make Nancy Wake a figure both extraordinary and elusive. By 1940, the streets of Paris were no longer safe. German forces had occupied France, and the once vibrant cafes, theaters, and markets became silent under the shadow of swastikas. For Nancy Wake, The city she had grown to love had transformed into a landscape of danger and uncertainty. The Gestapo's presence was omnipresent, their black uniforms and piercing eyes a constant reminder that a single misstep could mean death. Yet, it was precisely in this environment that Nancy's audacity would emerge. Her initial encounters with the perils of occupation were subtle yet harrowing. Simple errands, delivering a message to a friend or walking through familiar streets, carried an undercurrent of mortal risk. Surveillance was meticulous, and neighbors could betray one another for survival. Nancy quickly understood that the rules of her childhood adventures no longer applied. Each shadow, each footstep echoed with potential peril. She began to move differently, faster, quieter, more deliberate. The playful confidence of youth became a weapon of survival. The stakes escalated when she made contact with the French resistance. Here, Nancy faced the ultimate test, aligning her courage with strategy, learning the codes, and understanding the deadly chess game that was espionage. She witnessed firsthand the brutality of the Gestapo, arrests in the dead of night, torture, and public intimidation. Every mission she accepted carried immense personal risk. Capture meant imprisonment, torture, or execution. There were moments when the full weight of danger bore down on her. Once, while transporting intelligence across the city, she narrowly avoided a Gestapo patrol. Another time, an informant betrayed her safe house, forcing her to flee through the rain-slick streets, her heart pounding as bullets ricocheted nearby. The paradox was inescapable. A young woman, relatively small and unarmed, now wove herself into the most lethal network of enemies imaginable. Every mission demanded ingenuity, courage, and split-second decision-making. Did she have the right to risk her life? Every choice carried moral and strategic weight, shaping not only her destiny, but the fate of countless civilians and fellow operatives. Could she continue to defy the odds? Or would the city's silent hunters finally claim her? Nancy's challenges were not only external. Within the resistance, trust was fragile. Betrayal could come from comrades or strangers. She learned to read people, to anticipate deception, and to maintain composure under extreme pressure. Each day, the line between life and death blurred. Her youthful audacity had transformed into calculated bravery. The very qualities that made her a spirited girl in Sydney, fearlessness, quick thinking, and adaptability, became the tools with which she would navigate an occupied France, outsmart one of history's most ruthless secret police forces, and begin her legendary path as the White Mouse. Nancy Wake's true legend began when she fully embraced her role within the French resistance. She moved from being a messenger and courier to orchestrating sabotage operations that crippled German supply lines. Her first major mission involved coordinating the destruction of a railway junction vital for transporting troops and ammunition. Under cover of darkness, Nancy guided a team of local operatives through alleys and hidden passages, avoiding patrols, guard dogs, and the ever-watchful eyes of the occupiers. Each step was calculated, every movement a delicate dance between survival and mission success. Her leadership was immediate and natural. Despite being in her early 20s, she commanded respect through her audacity, intelligence, and sheer will. She trained operatives in stealth communication and tactics, turning civilians into a disciplined network capable of striking fear into the hearts of the Gestapo. One operation saw her coordinating simultaneous sabotage across multiple depots, ensuring that German supply chains were disrupted for weeks. In another, she personally scouted enemy positions, blending into cafes and marketplaces, turning the ordinary bustle of city life into opportunities for intelligence gathering. Her actions were precise and daring. The risks were immense, but her ability to read human behavior, anticipate patrol patterns, and adapt on the fly made her nearly untouchable. Yet, every victory carried immense personal risk. She narrowly escaped capture more than once, including an incident where Gestapo agents surrounded a safe house in Montauban. With her team trapped inside, Nancy created a diversion, slipping through a side passage unnoticed, leading the pursuers on a chase that ended in confusion and failure for the Gestapo. These experiences honed her instincts, sharpened her decision-making, and deepened her resolve. Each mission not only weakened the occupiers, but also strengthened the morale and cohesion of the resistance. As Nancy's reputation grew, so did the scale and audacity of her operations. She began coordinating entire networks, moving arms, explosives, and intelligence across occupied France, often under the very noses of the Gestapo. Her operations were not limited to logistical tasks. She personally led raids, sometimes in broad daylight, using her appearance, youthful, unassuming, and feminine, as the perfect camouflage. In one daring mission, she infiltrated a German-controlled communication center, memorizing vital codes and passing them to Allied forces, all while evading armed guards. Each action was a calculated risk, each success a testament to her courage and ingenuity. The weight of responsibility was immense. Nancy was no longer simply surviving. She was orchestrating lives, strategies, and outcomes that would ripple across the resistance. She trained local villagers, coordinated ambushes, and ensured safe passage for operatives and civilians alike. Her leadership inspired unwavering loyalty. Men and women, older and more experienced than she, followed her directives without question. The Gestapo, frustrated by repeated failures and unable to anticipate her moves, began placing a bounty on her head. Her moniker, the White Mouse, reflected both their fear and admiration. She seemed to vanish whenever capture was imminent, slipping through nets designed to trap the most seasoned agents. Even in the face of exhaustion, danger, and constant psychological strain, Nancy displayed remarkable composure. She adapted her tactics, exploited enemy weaknesses, and seized opportunities that others might have deemed suicidal. Every successful mission further crippled German operations, saving countless lives and bolstering the morale of a population under occupation. Her ingenuity extended beyond immediate actions. She devised contingency plans, built secure communication channels, and maintained a web of intelligence that allowed the resistance to anticipate German moves. These were not the actions of a young woman merely participating in a war. They were the feats of a strategic mind, a fearless leader, and a symbol of defiance against tyranny. By the end of 1944, Nancy Wake had not only cemented her place as one of the most effective operatives of the French resistance, but it also redefined what it meant to fight against overwhelming odds. Her youthful audacity, combined with tactical brilliance and unyielding courage, made her a pivotal figure whose contributions altered the course of operations in southern France. Yet even at the height of her exploits, she remained acutely aware of the precariousness of her position. One misstep could end her life, and the lives of those depending on her. It was this delicate balance between daring and caution, courage and survival, that defined Nancy Wake, the very essence of the White Mouse. The climax of Nancy Wake's wartime exploits came in the spring of 1944, as Allied forces prepared for the liberation of France. German forces, aware of the growing strength of the resistance, intensified their hunt for operatives in the south. Nancy, now a seasoned leader, faced her most perilous challenge yet, coordinating a series of simultaneous attacks on German garrisons, supply depots, and communication hubs, all while evading relentless Gestapo pursuit. Every moment was a race against time, every decision a potential sentence of death. One operation in particular epitomized the razor's edge she walked daily. Intelligence had revealed a critical German ammunition depot supplying frontline units. Nancy orchestrated a plan involving multiple resistance cells converging under cover of darkness. She personally scouted the area days in advance, memorizing guard rotations, patrol routes, and blind spots. The night of the operation, she led teams through moonlit alleys and abandoned warehouses, avoiding searchlights and armed patrols. Explosives were planted with precision, communication channels maintained, escape routes rehearsed meticulously. The tension was suffocating. Any mistake could trigger a deadly firefight. Meanwhile, Gestapo forces, alerted by intercepted messages, began tightening their net around the city. Nancy's network faced imminent compromise. Yet, displaying extraordinary composure, she adapted, diverting enemy attention with decoys, misleading patrols, and exploiting local knowledge. Civilians, previously fearful of retaliation, were guided to safe zones, while resistance fighters executed the mission flawlessly. Within hours, German supply lines were disrupted, communication networks disabled, and critical ammunition destroyed. Casualties among the occupiers were significant, while Allied and civilian losses were minimized, a testament to the meticulous planning and daring execution led by Nancy. The operation's success sent shockwaves through the German command. The White Mouse had struck again, demonstrating not just courage, but strategic brilliance. Her actions directly contributed to the weakening of German positions in southern France, facilitating the rapid advance of Allied forces after D-Day. Yet, the human cost weighed heavily on her. The constant proximity to death, the responsibility for lives in her hands, and the psychological toll of evading capture day after day left invisible scars. Each victory was tempered by the knowledge that a single miscalculation could undo everything. Nancy's final moments in the high-stakes missions of 1944 were a blend of exhilaration and exhaustion. Her legend grew not only through the tangible results, destroyed depots, rescued civilians, thwarted patrols, but through the mythos of a young woman who moved through occupied cities like a phantom, a figure simultaneously elusive and omnipresent. The Gestapo's obsession with capturing her only reinforced her symbolic power. A single individual, fearless and intelligent, capable of reshaping the battlefield. These high-stakes exploits defined the apex of her wartime career, demonstrating the profound impact one determined and courageous individual could have amidst the chaos of global conflict. With the liberation of France in 1944, Nancy Wake emerged from the shadows of clandestine warfare not as a celebrity, but as a living legend among those who had fought alongside her. Her contributions had crippled German operations in southern France, safeguarded countless civilians, and ensured the survival and efficacy of resistance networks. Yet, the accolades she deserved were slow to arrive. Many in the post-war world remained unaware of the extraordinary feats performed by this young woman who had risked everything for freedom. Her wartime record was staggering. She had participated in dozens of sabotage missions, coordinated multiple resistance cells, and directly contributed to the rescue of hundreds of lives. Allied commanders recognized her strategic brilliance, awarding her the George Medal, the Médaille de la Résistance, and the American Medal of Freedom. Even so, for years, the full extent of her exploits remained shrouded in secrecy, buried within declassified files and personal testimonies. The world knew the White Mouse only in fragments, an enigma, a shadow, a woman who had consistently outwitted the most ruthless secret police in history. The personal toll was immense. Years of living on the run, constant exposure to mortal danger, and the psychological strain of orchestrating life or death operations left enduring marks. Yet, Nancy remained undeterred in her post-war life. She returned to Australia briefly, later resettling in Europe, living quietly but with the quiet confidence of someone who had faced death countless times and survived. Her story became a symbol of courage, resilience, and the extraordinary potential of ordinary individuals when confronted with tyranny. The communities she had protected and inspired never forgot. Fellow resistance members recounted her audacity, her meticulous planning, and her unwavering dedication. Generations who learned of her deeds marveled not just at the tactical success, but at the profound moral courage she exhibited. A young woman, alone against an oppressive force, yet undaunted, inventive, and fearless. Nancy Wake's legacy was not merely the destruction of enemy supply depots or the intelligence she delivered. It was the embodiment of what it meant to act decisively, selflessly, and bravely in the face of unimaginable peril. Nancy Wake's story transcends the mere recounting of missions and sabotage. It is a testament to the power of individual courage, intellect, and determination in shaping the course of history. A young woman, underestimated and underestimated again because of her age and gender, became a linchpin in one of the most dangerous theaters of World War II. Her life challenges assumptions about capability, bravery, and the impact a single person can have against overwhelming odds. Her legacy is not measured only by the enemy depots destroyed, the intelligence delivered, or the lives saved, but by the enduring example she set for generations to come. She demonstrated that courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it, that leadership can emerge from the most unlikely sources, and that determination coupled with ingenuity can overcome even the most formidable adversaries. In a world where history often favors the powerful and the visible, Nancy Wake reminds us that heroism is frequently quiet, hidden in shadows, and yet utterly transformative. The lessons of her life resonate today. They speak to the importance of acting decisively when confronted with injustice, the necessity of resilience in the face of danger, and the enduring value of using one's talents and wits for the greater good. Her story also poses a poignant question about memory and recognition. How many extraordinary deeds remain in the shadows, unrecorded, uncelebrated, simply because those who performed them did not seek acclaim? Nancy's life compels us to look deeper, to acknowledge the unsung heroes, and to recognize that the potential for greatness exists in every ordinary individual. As history continues to unfold, the name the White Mouse serves not just as a moniker for a daring wartime operative, but as a symbol of relentless courage, moral fortitude, and the extraordinary influence of a determined human spirit. Nancy Wake's life is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, one person can illuminate a path toward freedom, justice, and hope. Will the world remember her as it should, or will her courage fade into the shadows of history?